She knew he was wrong for her. She had known it for years. Her friends had told her, her family had told her. She had told herself in the quiet hours of the morning when she lay awake running the same conversations through her head for the 100th time. She knew. And yet, every single time she tried to leave, she went back. Not because she was weak, not because she was stupid, not because she didn't know better, but because something inside her, something she couldn't name and couldn't fight, made leaving feel physically impossible. That something has a name, and by the end of this video, you are going to understand it in a way that may change everything. Before we talk about what a trauma bond is, let's talk about what it feels like. Because millions of people are living inside one right now and have no idea that what they're experiencing has been studied, documented, and explained by decades of psychological research. It feels like being addicted to a person, not in the romantic way people describe when they talk about loving someone deeply. This is different. This has an edge to it. A desperation, an almost physical pull toward someone who you know, on some rational level, is hurting you. It feels like the relationship is the only place that makes sense, even when it makes no sense at all. It feels like leaving would be losing a part of yourself you can't afford to lose. Like the world outside the relationship is somehow less real than the world inside it. And the most painful part, the part that nobody who hasn't experienced it can fully understand, is that the person causing all of this pain is also the person you desperately want comfort from. If any of what I just described sounds familiar, this video was made for you. The term trauma bonding was first introduced by Dr. Patrick Carnes in 1997. Carnes was studying the psychological impact of abuse, and he noticed something that researchers before him had largely overlooked. The people who had been most severely abused were also, in many cases, the ones who were most powerfully attached to their abusers. This was not a personality flaw. It was not a character weakness. It was not something that only happened to a certain type of person. It was a biological response, a predictable, measurable, neurological reaction to a very specific set of conditions. To understand how it works, you need to understand one thing about the human brain first. Your brain is not built for happiness. It is built for survival. And survival, for most of human history, did not mean being comfortable. It meant being attached. To a group, to a tribe, to the people around you. Because humans who became disconnected from their group died. Your brain learned this lesson so deeply over so many thousands of years that it will do almost anything to maintain attachment to the people it is bonded with. Even when those people are dangerous. Even when staying is the thing that is killing you. Here is how a trauma bond is built. And I want you to pay close attention to this, because understanding the mechanics of it is the first step toward breaking free from it. It almost never starts with pain. In fact, it almost always starts with something that feels extraordinary. The beginning of a relationship that will eventually become toxic is frequently one of the most intoxicating experiences a person can have. Psychologists call this love bombing, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Overwhelming attention, constant affection, the feeling of being seen completely, totally, as if this person reached inside you and found the truest version of yourself. You feel chosen, you feel special, you feel like you have found something rare, and your brain responds accordingly. It floods your system with dopamine, the same chemical released by drugs, by gambling, by every intensely pleasurable experience the human brain knows. You are quite literally getting high on this person. And then, gradually or sometimes suddenly, something shifts. Never dramatic for drama's sake. This topic deserves genuine tenderness. Conditions attached to it that keep changing. The person who made you feel so completely seen begins to make you feel like you are never quite enough. There are arguments, there is coldness, there might be cruelty, emotional, psychological, sometimes physical. And then, just as the pain reaches a point you think you cannot bear, they come back. The warmth returns, the affection returns. You get a glimpse of the person you fell in love with, the one who made you feel extraordinary. And your brain, starved of the dopamine it became dependent on, floods. This cycle, tension, explosion, reconciliation, calm, tension, explosion, reconciliation, calm, is not accidental. It is the most powerful bonding mechanism the human brain knows. Psychologists have a name for this pattern of intermittent reward. And if you've ever wondered why a slot machine is so addictive, why people feed coins into a machine that loses far more than it gives, you already understand the mechanism. In the 1950s, the psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered something extraordinary about reward and behavior. He found that the most addictive reward schedule was not a consistent one. It was not every time. It was not never. It was sometimes, unpredictably, randomly, just often enough to keep you pulling the lever. When love and affection are given consistently, every day, reliably, without condition, the brain notes it. It is grateful for it, but it does not become dependent on it. When love and affection are given intermittently, when you never know whether today will bring warmth or coldness, kindness or cruelty, the brain becomes obsessed with it. It thinks about it constantly. It analyzes every interaction for clues. It stays in a state of hypervigilance, scanning, watching, trying to predict the next moment of warmth. And every time that warmth arrives, however briefly, the relief is so overwhelming that it reinforces the attachment rather than dissolving it. You are not addicted to the relationship. You are addicted to the hope of the relationship, the version of it you saw at the beginning, the version you catch glimpses of in the good moment, the version your brain is convinced, despite all evidence, is the real one. Now I want to talk about something that most people in trauma bonds carry entirely alone: the shame. Because one of the cruelest things about a trauma bond is that from the outside, it looks like a choice. Friends look at you and think, "Why don't you just leave?" Family members grow frustrated. Even you grow frustrated with yourself. You think, "I am not a stupid person. I can see what this is. I know what I should do. Why can't I do it?" Here is the answer. And I need you to really hear this. You cannot think your way out of a trauma bond. Because a trauma bond is not a thought. It is not a decision. It is not a logical conclusion that can be reached or reversed by logic alone. It is a neurological state. It lives in the oldest, deepest parts of your brain, the parts that were managing your survival long before the parts that do your reasoning even existed. Telling someone in a trauma bond to just leave is like telling someone with a broken leg to just walk. The instruction makes complete sense. The body cannot follow it. The research of Dr. Judith Herman, one of the world's foremost experts on trauma, found that people in abusive relationships do not stay because they lack intelligence or self-worth. They stay because their nervous system has been systematically conditioned to experience the abusive relationship as safety. Think about that for a moment. The brain that is supposed to protect you from danger has been rewired through repeated cycles of pain and relief to classify this particular danger as home. There are signs of a trauma bond that people rarely recognize for what they are. You feel more anxious when things are good than when things are bad, because the good times feel like they can't last, and waiting for the next explosion is somehow more bearable than hoping it won't come. You find yourself defending this person to everyone who loves you, even when part of you knows they are right, even when you've said the same things yourself in your own head at 3 in the morning. You feel responsible for their emotions, as if their anger, their sadness, their disappointment is somehow caused by a failure in you. And if you could just figure out the right way to be, everything would finally be okay. You have tried to leave, maybe many times, and each time something pulls you back. A phone call, a message, a moment of vulnerability from them that reminds you of who they used to be, or can be, or might be again if you stay. If you stay a little longer, if you try a little harder. And after every return, the shame deepens, because now you are not only in the relationship, you are in the relationship again. And the voice in your head, and sometimes the voices around you, remind you of that. So, what does healing actually look like? Because I am not going to end this video by simply telling you to leave and wishing you luck. That is not enough, and you deserve more than that. The first thing you need to understand is this: healing from a trauma bond is not a straight line. It is not a decision you make once on a Tuesday afternoon and wake up free from on Wednesday morning. It is a process, and it requires more than willpower. It requires understanding, which is what this video has been trying to give you. Because the moment you understand that what you're experiencing is a biological response, not a personal failing, the shame begins to lose its grip. Just slightly, just enough. The second thing, you need safe people. Not people who will judge you for staying, or roll their eyes when you go back, or offer advice from a place of frustration rather than love. You need people who understand that you are not choosing the relationship over yourself. You are fighting a neurological battle, and you need witnesses who know that. Therapy, specifically trauma-informed therapy, is one of the most evidence-backed paths through a trauma bond. A therapist who understands attachment, who understands the neuroscience of intermittent reward, who can help nervous systems slowly, very slowly learn what safety actually feels like without pain attached to it. And the third thing, perhaps the most important, compassion for yourself. Not tolerance for the situation, not an excuse to stay forever, but genuine, honest compassion for the human being who got caught in something that was specifically designed, whether consciously or not, to be almost impossible to escape. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are a person whose brain did exactly what it was built to do and got betrayed by the very mechanism that was meant to keep you safe. There is a question I want to leave you with. Not, why can't I leave? You now know the answer to that. But what would it feel like to be in a relationship where you never had to brace yourself? Where the warmth didn't have an expiry date? Where the good moments weren't evidence that something bad was coming? Where you could exhale fully, completely, and know that the ground beneath you was solid. That is not a fantasy. That is what relationships are supposed to feel like. And you are allowed to want that. You are allowed to believe you deserve it. Even now. Especially now. If this video found you at the right moment, if something in the last few minutes felt less like a psychology lesson and more like someone finally putting words to something you've been carrying alone, then I want you to do something for yourself right now. Save this video. Not for later when you have time. Save it because there will be a moment, maybe tonight, maybe next week, maybe the next time you feel that pull dragging you back, when you will need to hear this again. And it needs to be somewhere you can find it. Hit the save button right now and keep this one close. And if this gave you something, if it helped you understand yourself a little better, or helped you understand someone you love, give it a like. Not for me, but because every like puts this video in front of someone else who might be sitting exactly where you are right now, in the dark, wondering why they can't do what everyone says is so simple. They need to find this too. Share this video with one person. You don't have to explain why, you don't have to make it a big conversation, just send it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone you care about is let the right words find them. And in the comment below, I want to hear from you. You don't have to share your whole story, but if this video named something you've been living with, tell me, even one word, even just, "This is me." Because reading those comments matters, and so does knowing you are not alone in this. This channel exists to explain the things about human that most people never get taught, the hidden mechanics of why we feel what we feel, why we do what we do, and how we find our way back to ourselves. If that's something you want more of, subscribe and turn the notification bell on, because the next video is going to go somewhere you won't expect. Take care of yourself. I mean that. I'll see you in the next one.